Yeah, okay, gentlemen, it has been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for joining me. What do you think about the ARTY change Wargaming wants to do? You think it's
they'll wreck the game.
It's
Simple.
meh. I can see it working. I can see it working for skilled people who know where to shoot and know, okay, this engagement needs to push, they will be assisted with a stun. But that is all. That is literally the only thing it does now. Okay, I need to stun those guys to help our team advance there. I need to stun those guys to help our team advance there. I need to stun those guys. I need to stun those guys. I need to stun those guys. Oh, 5 games later, I'm bored. I'm not playing ARTY anymore. Like, at the moment, it's going to be dull as crap to play ARTY in that way. Because it does no damage. You rely inherently on other people to get your XP. And it's just... it's going to be very meh. They need illumination rounds, they need smoke rounds, they need stuff that actually appeals to the skill basis of ARTY as a support class. If they want to turn it into a support vehicle, then do it. And stun is fine. I'm really okay with the mechanic if they work it in right. I like the fact that they're using repair kits and med kits. I like that fact. It's a good change. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the ideas have potential, but they really need to enhance it. And this is the second iteration of the test server, and they've refined the stun, but with the time that they've had to work on it, you'd expect more. And it worries me that there's not new ideas in the pipeline, like, okay, next time we're going to be adding smoke shells, we're going to be adding illumination rounds, we're going to be adding some form of other mechanic, changing it in a more dramatic way. That alarms me, because I really hope it's going to change.
No people will be happier at all. It will ruin the game for artillery players. Plain and simple. Artillery is there to balance.
Yeah, but
the only reason why they're making the changes is because of boo babies, cry babies on the forums going, "You need to nerf ARTY. You need to do something about ARTY. It always one-shots me."
You know, ARTY is completely broken and retarded, right? Like, you do share that opinion. Just so I'm clear.
It's in some way, yes, but
no. There's a difference between Overpowered. I'm going to turn this into a talk show for the last 5 minutes. There's a difference between Overpowered and broken. For example, the Grill 15 is overpowered. I'd say it's on the verge of being broken. It will just be overpowered when they nerf it. I'll check my donation sign-ups, I will.
Yeah,
but hang on, let me finish my point.
Yeah.
The Waffenträger Alpha 100 was broken because it disrupted gameplay in a completely retarded way. It would come round and just kill everything and then just die. Or you'd be able to just kill it instantly, or it would have no way of defending itself, or it would win, or it would fail. There was no in between. And that's what ARTY is. ARTY is not overpowered. It doesn't go around one-shotting everything all day, all week. It doesn't do that. ARTY is broken because it has no reliability. It has no consistency. You can sit a player who has 62% wins next to a player who has 48% wins, and they'll do the same amount in ARTY because of RNG. And not only that, ARTY as a class is completely different from all the other 4 classes in the game that rely on skill, positioning, actually aiming, mattering where they hit the enemy tank. You have 4 classes that function in one distinct way, and they work that way together, and they gel, and they work. There's inconsistencies, there's ups and downs, there's tanks that are much better than others. At tiers, there's unbalances there, but it's all within the same meta, the same class skills, the traits, whereas ARTY is completely different. It sits at the back of the map, and it undermines against the skill and effort and time that people who learn the weak spots, learn the positions, put into the game, because they can't do that anymore. They have to sit at the back of the map. If they get focused, they can't do anything. It ruins their game. They put money in. And the people at the back of the map who aren't using any skill whatsoever, who are just playing the game with one hand while eating a burger with the other, aren't putting any money into the game more often than not. It's the players who are getting shat on by ARTY, playing their tier 10 vehicles, who bought their gold shells, they bought their premium account because they like the basis of the game. The heart of World of Tanks is that people want to get into a big tank and they want to shoot people with a big feckin' gun. And they don't want to cower behind a house for the entire game because they know they're good enough to know that that is the right play. You're sitting at the top of the hill on Malinovka, that's ARTY. It is the right play. It is legitimately the right thing to do, to sit behind the house and wait for the enemy team to get shot on from the back of the map. That's not skill. That's a game mechanic that's entirely broken and flawed and needs to be changed, taken out, and moved in some way. It gives no satisfaction for the person playing it because it relies entirely on RNG. Your shot will hit and then miss based pretty much on no skill on your part or the skill of the enemy, and the people who are actually getting hit by it, even if they don't get one shot, they may have needed those hit points to make a play, to think, to position, to do this, to do that. And yet it gets stolen by some guy with one hand at the back of the map.
Yeah, and on the other hand, if you aim, you're playing artillery and you aim and you're fully focused and you fire the shot and it hits nothing.
Yeah, that's why I say it's a broken mechanic. It's not overpowered.
Yeah.
I've been careful to make that distinction lately.
Yes.
Because people have been saying overpowered, and
I mean, fine. I agree with the changes on the Greeley 15. I agree with the buffs on the T95 and the T28 prototype and a T28. Yeah, totally agree with the buffs on that. Yeah, and probably the other changes, but I mean, star mechanics on artillery just doesn't make sense. We need to balance it in a way that.
I mean,
it is better than it is now.
I would have gone with just, if they just removed,
for example,
reduced damage,
Yeah,
They could have done it, kept the same idea, but... No, I'm sorry,
exactly.
go on.
Well, for example, right, the fluffy bunny rabbit.
Yeah,
right? Now, that's a tier 5 premium artillery piece. It fires its rounds every freaking, what?
8 seconds.
6 seconds, yeah.
6 seconds, yeah.
Yeah. And it does what? Round about 300...
300, 400 damage, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, per shot. And that, for me, for tier 5 artillery, it's a little bit OP.
Yeah.
But if you win a tier 6, for example, like the M44, which does more or less the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of the decent amount of balance.
I like the fact that they're trying to remove one-shots, because, I mean, it disrupts the game flow in a way that is not fair, and it's not... I mean, consistency is a thing that
remove
consistency is...
On the other hand, they need to balance the aims. I mean, if you're fully focused in artillery player, you focus a target, and next minute, the shell just goes absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're right.
That is the problem, is consistency with ARTY at the moment. Like, at least if it was consistent, you'd have a more well-divided line, because I feel like so much of what the Tanks player base at the moment is either of one opinion or the other, and then you have these people who honestly, like, they'll side with one side or the other when the argument is raised, because they want to take sides. It's very natural to take sides, but honestly, they don't know. They haven't thought about it that much, and they're just like, at least if ARTY was one-shotting people all the time, or missing all the time, it would be clear one way or the other. but there's no consistency between the class at all.
No,
and with light tanks, with medium tanks, with heavy tanks, with tank destroyers, it's your skill. It's what you do that affects the outcome. In ARTY, it's RNG. Like, more often than not. And that's the heart of the problem with RNG. Because, I mean, I have nothing against ARTY players. Like, we play it, and it's fun. I mean, we play it in an retarded way because we don't respect it. And it's kind of been like my ongoing mission
camping?
To rebel against wargaming.
I just don't understand camping in an artillery.
Well, no. Here's the thing. You want to stop camping in ARTY, right? You want to stop camping in ARTY, with ARTY, give them illumination rounds that light up a 50-meter area, and they spot targets within that area, or they dramatically reduce the camouflaging of the tanks in that area, or they decrease foliage camo, or something like that. Yeah. You launch an illumination shell at someone camping, it lights them up, there, your RT spotted something, the target's lit, your team can then shoot them. As soon as they go out of the illumination round, they have moved their tank, and they're no longer camping in that position, so they've stopped camping. Maybe the illumination round hangs in the air above the location for 20 seconds or something, you know? That's a good mechanic. That works. That bases it on skill. Like, your team can say, okay, I need this guy lit up here, and the RT can fire that. And you've got smoke shells as well that do the same thing. A light tank can say, okay, I'm going to try and go here. Can someone launch a smoke shell there? And it will give them additional camouflaging or reduce the enemy team's view.
Well, we need to get in contact with the physics and realism guy, because I think he needs to be on holiday.
Steven, I got a couple of things to add here. First of all, you're counting on a team actually getting together and cooperating with that one.
I know, but here's the thing.
And the matchmaking.
You can't please everyone. And it seems like that's something Wargaming's trying to do. They're so scared of cutting off the 20% of their player base that is like, oh, I love ARTY. I really want to play ARTY. ARTY should stay the way it is. I love one-shotting the enemies. They've never had it the other way. They never play normal tanks. They never go out and they get one shot by ARTY on the back of the map. They've never reached that level of skill level where you realised the light dawns and you realise how feckin' overpowered it is. Like, there's a certain skill level that you get to where you understand just what you could have done if you weren't one-shot by ARTY. What you could have done if you didn't lose 700 hit points to some guy sitting out the back of the map. What you planned to do. What game you could have done. What impact you could have had for your team if ARTY wasn't in it. Once you get to that level, it becomes clear. You start to side with the side of the argument that is, okay, ARTY needs to be changed. ARTY needs to have some kind of different mechanic. I
agree with you, Steve. Believe me, I've seen a few games like that. Trust me. But while I got the floor here for a second, will you please read Steiner's donation before he has puppies?
Sure, give me a second. And Unicums complain that no skillers can kill them in ARTY, but think it's fine that they can feast on Portland players to keep their W and 8.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm playing
that's based on skill.
I hate
honestly,
getting butt raped by fucking light tanks, and especially auto-loading scumbags like Batchats.
Yeah. I will give it to you, Joe. There are some Unicums that will just see a situation that they don't think they can handle, they push the 2-key. I do it myself quite often because there are situations that, I mean, no, I'm not going to play the Dystonia card, but it's a factor for me that I don't want taken into account. Like, I push the 2-key because, for whatever reason, I can't deal with an engagement another way. But there are some people that do not use skill. They just push the 2-key, they go straight through the tenant of an E100. But they still have to aim. And when they aim, generally the shot goes where they aim it, right? They still have to position. They have to go to there. They don't just turn their tank and it's like, oh, I'm shooting at the east side of the map. Oh, there's a tank all the way over there on the west side of the map. I guess I'll use high ground, position it. No, wait, I'll just turn my tank and poop on him. Like, even if someone is spamming full premium, they still have to aim. Like, I don't know. Okay. Steinelps wants me to play the random tank picker. God damn it.
Oh, God, okay. Anyways, all right, fine. Whatever.
We're doing the bloody...
No, it's just you've been going off in chat, and you've been bugging me on TeamSpeak. You're all for that. Jeez, I had a... Never mind. I'm going to be nice.
Say on stream, do not... Just look at it, do not read it.
Oh. Whoops.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Don't.
Yeah. So
yeah, but if it was a random tank pick, why was he so freaking? Oh, anyway.
I don't know.
It's like the stream's over, dude. Who cares if it's a random? I'm sorry, I'm shutting.
Yeah. Steiner, yeah. I'm gonna do you an IOU, mate, on that random tank pick. You can call it in whenever, and I'll do a random tank pick with you, mate. But right now I'm probably gonna head off. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the ARTY changes. They need to be more in depth, but I can see the stun mechanic actually adding something to the game. But here's the thing. I'm thinking in platoons. Like, that's the only thing I think. Knowing how World of Tanks works right now with random teammates, it's few and far between that you get a random teammate worth his salt or willing to help you out or do what you ask. You know? They have allegiance to no one in random games. Sport this, TARDIS. ARTY changes introduced as they are on the server right now, on the test server or whatever they're calling it.
Yep. Sandbox.
Yeah.
Yep.
Platoon gameplay. 1 ARTY, 2 medium tanks. You need to push a flank. You can call in your ARTY. Your ARTY says, okay, I launched a stun. They're stunned there now. That gives you an opportunity, a mechanic, a potential to attack, to know that their reloads are lesser. Like, that's what I'm thinking. There is something there. Like, that's the idea that I think Wargaming have.
If you're playing on your own, then what's the fucking point? That's what I'm seeing.
Well, ARTY will still be shooting, won't they? And they'll be shooting potentially more often. And when you see the stun mechanic, you know that, okay, maybe I can squeeze off that extra shot. And I think that benefits good players more than it does the majority of the player base. Because when I see like for example, if an E100 fires at the same time as me, right, in an IS-4, I'm in an IS-4, I know that I've got a 10-second reload, and he's got a 16-second reload. We fired at the same time. Halfway through our reloads, ARTY shells comes in, he gets stunned. I know that his reload is half, so I know that now he'll reload potentially a little bit after me. I can go for that second shot. Like, it will change mechanics, but it relies on knowledge of the players that the ARTY has shot to help, which is why I think the mechanic will fail as is, because the vast majority of players don't have that knowledge. They don't know that when a little thing comes up above the enemy team, they don't know the exact reload. They don't know the numbers, they don't know what they can push. Go on.
Crasto 8325. If you've played ARTY on Sandbox, I think either myself and Steve might appreciate a replay.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, okay. There's an NDR on the Sandbox server.
An NDR?
Yeah, non-disclosure, so I don't think he's allowed to share any information.
Right, okay. Right.
I'm just going to add something else. So you mentioned about smoke rounds, Steve. Well, I can tell you from experience in Armored Warfare, if they use the mechanic similar, where the smoke round just obliterates vision for everybody, it's actually dangerous for your own team if you're already shooting it, and it's a pain in the ass.
No. I mean, not... if, for example, you could have the mechanic designed like... smoke shells will increase the camo of your vehicles. Like, you can put a smoke shell somewhere and it will act like basically a massive bush. Like, it will give foliage camo. It won't necessarily reduce the view range of all vehicles. If your ARTY fires it, your team's view range could stay the same. Like, I haven't sat down and thought out, because that's Wargaming's job that they're not doing. And I mean, illumination shells could work in the same way. They give maybe a
I
plus
agree with your
100
illumination, but
range.
when it comes to the smoke shells there, it's kind of that one there. I don't think that to make it pardon me for using this, the realism part of it there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Realism is not a factor. It's not.
Yeah.
At all. I mean, Wargaming, I watched a video where Wargaming stated these exact words, and I can find a quote if anyone wants to hear it. They were talking about ARTY, and I said this: perfect realism is not what you need for action-packed tank clashes. That's what I said. They know this. Like, it shouldn't even be a question anymore. They've introduced the Waffenträger 100 for feck's sake. I mean, you go that far, you do not care about bloody realism anymore. You introduce that ginormous piece of broken fudge that not only did it never actually exist, it breaks the entire game. Not only are you stupid, but you don't have any respect for the history of the game that you're actually trying to build, clearly. And it's just, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I still say they'd have to be really careful with smoke shells because the way Armored Warfare have put them in, if ARTY drops smoke on your position, you're completely obscured. You from your enemy and your enemy from you. It's great like that, except for even the smoke rounds the tanks put out now for count. It's great. It's completely breaks your line of sight and everything, but then you can't shoot at the tank and you got to wait till the smoke clears. And I've been in positions when the smoke cleared, that tank you were spotting that got obscured is now he's sitting 100 yards from you, fully aimed at you.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I do think a team mechanic should be introduced because they want to make ARTY a support class. So make it a support class. Make it so that whatever illumination shells, smoke shells, wherever they fire, they only benefit your team, or they only impede the enemy team. Like, that would really put the emphasis on, okay, it's important the ARTY can fire there and they can help their own team out. You know?
Yeah, and you know what I think? Instead of a stun mechanic, they should just reduce the shells more accurate and reduce the damage. Just make it like they're fighting another tank, more or less, kind of thing.
Yeah. Or make it basically very accurate and increase the effect of armor against high explosive shells. So they've already introduced...
Yeah, but then you're looking at having to go through the whole friggin' tank class. Every class that
No, just the basics for ARTY. So my suggestion would be they're already introducing the aiming mode where you hit G and you like see the different sight in ARTY, yeah? The where you're looking from a kind of horizontal standpoint.
Well, that's only via mods. That's not
they're actually putting that in now.
They are?
Yeah.
Didn't know that, okay.
So if you keep that idea and then actually make ARTY aim. So if you hit the tracks of a tank, it's really going to cut down on your damage. And I make that clear. If you hit the tracks of a tank, like, you're going to do a massive amount less damage. Let's say 75% of your damage gets cut out. You want to hit the lower plate, the engine deck, you make the differential between where you hit on the tank actually matter. And you increase the accuracy. That way ARTY actually have to aim. They have to be careful with their shot. And they can do the smoke shells and illumination shells as well. It adds such an element of skill to ARTY. And I think if they did that, if they actually made ARTY have to aim, increase the effect of the armor of vehicles against ARTY HE shells, then I reckon that would really do a lot of good for the game. I really do.
Anyhow, on that note, I'm wandering off. Have a good day, and see you later, everybody.
Yeah, okay, gentlemen. Welcome. Thanks for watching the WoT Talk Show. It's been a pleasure.
Stay tuned tomorrow or next week, and we'll be talking about other weird
General
shit.
Togg's penis.
Yes.
No, let's not talk.
You had to put that in there, you did. You had to put it in.
And more
Well, I had to put it in. It's never been put in anything else.